Welcome in this video on Rabindranath Tagore. I am Dr. Vinita Bhadoria, Associate Professor of English in Government College, Behror. This video is useful for the students of BA Part 2 and it belongs to the paper 1, Poetry and Drama. Rabindranath Tagore was a well-known Indian poet, also known as a freedom fighter. He was born on 7th May 1867 in Kolkata and died on 7th August 1941 in Jorasanko, Thakurbadi, Kolkata. He was a Bengali poet, writer, composer, philosopher, playwright and painter. He reshaped Bengali literature and music as well as Indian art with contextual modernism in the late 19th and early 20th century. Rabindranath was the youngest son of Devendranath Tagore, a leader of the Brahma Samaj, which was a new religious sect in the 19th century Bengal, and which attempted a revival of the ultimate monastic basis of Hinduism as laid down in the Upanishads. He was educated at home, and although at 17 he was sent to England for formal schooling, he did not finish his studies there. He was highly influential in introducing Indian culture to the West and vice versa, and he is generally regarded as the outstanding creative artist of early 20th century India. He was the first Indian and the first non-European to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913 for his collection of verses Gitanjali. A man of prodigious literary and artistic accomplishment, Tagore played a leading role in Indian cultural renaissance and came to be recognized, along with Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, as one of the architects of modern India. Tagore and Gandhi have undoubtedly been the two outstanding and dominating figures in the first half of the 20th century. His influence over the mind of India, and especially of successive rising generations, has been tremendous. Not Bengali only, the language in which he himself wrote, but all the modern languages of India have been molded partly by his writing. More than any other Indian, he has helped to bring into harmony the ideals of the East and the West and broadened the basis of Indian nationalism. He started an experimental school at Shantiniketan where he tried his Upanishadic ideals of education. Shantiniketan embodies Rabindranath Tagore's vision of a place of learning that is unfettered by religious and regional barriers. Established in 1863 with the aim of helping education go beyond the confines of the classroom, Shantiniketan grew into the Vishwabharati University in 1921, attracting some of the most creative minds in the country. Tagore developed a curriculum that was a unique blend of art, human values, and cultural interchange. Even today, in every step, in every brick, and in every tree at Shantiniketan, one can still feel his presence, his passion, his dedication, and his pride in the institution. From time to time, he participated in the Indian nationalist movement, though in his own non sentimental and visionary way. Ideas of sympathy, empathy, and freedom teemed in Tagore's writing and shaped his life. When it was his turn to manage the land state in 1890, his father had left for his sons and staff to manage. It was the first time he saw abject poverty triggered by feudalism. Tagore's later years in 20th century saw immense tumult. India was fighting the British Raj, and Tagore's mission for freedom and justice, as he often called it, extended far beyond his roles as a writer and administrator. He considered himself to have been born at a time of confluence and the midst of three major movements. Those are national reform, social reform, and religious reform. Tagore was strictly anti imperialist and supported the Congress in its attempt to end British colonization of India. In 1905, when then Viceroy Lord Curzon decided to divide Bengal along religious lines, Tagore took an active interest in the Swadeshi and boycott movements, which he had hoped would be motivated by education and unity for the people of Bengal. So we can say the view of nationalism and patriotism that the movement was taking on was too narrow. He disengaged with the movement but remained expressive on the issue of independence through his art and writing. Fundamental to his belief was that nationalism could not rise above humanity. He also wrote musical dramas, dance dramas, essays of all types, travel diaries, and two autobiographies, one in his middle years and the other shortly before his death in 1941. At the age of 61, he started making drawings and painting. Tagore was known mostly for his poetry, but he wrote novels, essays, short stories, travelogues, dramas, and thousands of songs. His songs are known as Rabindra Sangeet. Of Tagore's prose, his short stories are perhaps most highly regarded. He has written over 100 stories, 100 short stories. He is indeed credited with originating the Bengali language version of the genre. His works are frequently noted for their rhythmic, optimistic, and lyrical nature. Such stories mostly borrow from the lives of common people. Tagore was a playwright also, and his experiences with plays began when he was 16 with his brother Jyotirindranath. He wrote his first original dramatic piece when he was 20, and the name of the work is Valmiki Pratibha, which was shown at the Tagore's mansion. Tagore stated that his works sought to articulate the play of feeling and not of action. In 1890, he wrote Visarjan, an adaptation of his novella Rajrishi, which has been regarded as his finest drama in the original Bengali language. He has written more than 40 plays. Tagore wrote 8 novels and 4 novellas. Novellas are the short novels. Among them Chaturanga, Shishir Kobita, Nauka Dubi, Jamindar, Gora. These are the major novels written by him. Gora is the masterpiece of all these. Gora raises controversial questions regarding the Indian identity, as with Ghare Baire, matters of self identity, personal freedom, and religion are developed in the context of a family story and love triangle. In poetry, Gitanjali is the internationally known work of Tagore. It is the best known collection of poetry for which he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913. Tagore was the first non European and first Indian to receive a Nobel Prize in Literature and second non European to receive a Nobel Prize after Theodore Roosevelt. Tagore's poetic style, which proceeds from a lineage established by 15th and 16th century Vaishnava poets, ranges from classical formalism to the comic, visionary, and ecstatic. He was influenced by the activistic mysticism of Vyasa and other rishis, authors of Upanishads. His major works in poetry are Manasi, which was translated in English The Ideal One, Sonar Tari, The Golden Vote in 1894, Gitanjali, Song Offerings in 1910, Geet Malya, Wreath of Songs in 1914, Balaka, The Flight of Cranes in 1916, Selected Poem in 1994, I Won't Let You Go, Selected Poems in 1991. Gora is one of the famous novels of Tagore. Sadhana is a philosophic work by Tagore. It is the realization of life. It was published in 1913. Selected short stories in 1991. Stories from Tagore in 1918. Some of the famous plays are Visarjan, Sacrifice in 1890, Chitrangada in 1892, Raja, the King of the Dark Chamber in 1910, Dagghar, the Post Office in 1912, Achaliyatan, the Immovable, 1912, Muktadhara, the Waterfall, 1922, Rakt Karbai, Red Oleanders, in 1926, Chandalika, the Untouchable Girl, 1933. It is prescribed in your course. The crest Chandalika, the Untouchable Girl, which was modeled on an ancient Buddhist legend describing how Ananda, the Gautam Buddha's disciple, asks a tribal girl for water. Chitrangada, Chandalika, and Shyama are other key plays that have dance drama adaptation, which together are known as Rabindranath Natya. The Crescent Moon is another one which was published in 1913, The Cycle of Spring in 1917. Tagore. Some of the works of Tagore are converted in new movies, Indian movies, Bengali movies, and some television programs. Natir Puja. In 1932, the only film directed by Rabindranath Tagore, Gora, is the name of novel in 1938, directed by Naresh Mitra. Nauka Dubi by Nitin Bose, Kabuliwala by Tapan Sinha, Shudita Pashan in 1960, Tapan Sinha, Teen Kanya, Satyajit Ray, Charulata, Satyajit Ray, Megh और रौद्रा अरुंधति देवी, घरे बायरे, सत्यजीत रे, चोखेर बाली by Rituparna Ghosh in 2003, Shasti in 2003, Shova, Chaturanga, and Lear Char Adhyay. All these works of Tagore are converted, translated, or directed by many of the directors as Bengali and Hindi movies. Few interesting facts regarding Tagore. Indian national anthem Jan Gan Man was composed by Rabindranath Tagore. He is the author of the national anthem of Bangladesh also. Gurudev was the title given to Tagore by Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhiji gave this title to praise the efforts of Tagore in teaching students. Tagore gave the title Mahatma to Gandhi ji on 6th March 1915. So, this is all about Rabindranath Tagore in this video. And in the next video, I will explain you his play Chandalika, the Untouchable Girl. Thank you very much.